Hello, everybody. This is my review of the movie Atlas, directed by Brad Peyton and written by Leo Sardarian and Aaron Eli Colete. Atlas is about the titular military analyst played by Jennifer Lopez, who has to save the human race from a rebellious group of artificially intelligent beings led by Harlan, played by Simu Liu. The movie starts out with video of the rebellion. Probably one of the scariest parts of this sequence is a segment where they talk about drones controlled by AI massacring humans. Drone technology exists today, and so does AI technology, so it isn't too far a stretch to imagine that the two can be used together. And it is horrifying to imagine how some countries might allow AI to develop militarily. Thankfully, Harlan's forces were pushed back to the point where he had to leave Earth. But upon leaving, he made a promise to come back and finish what he had started. The best part of the movie Atlas is the relationship between Atlas and the artificial intelligence Smith, played by Gregory James Cohen. This is the heart of the movie, and it may be the primary redeeming factor of the film. After the movie is over, the arc will leave you with a feeling of satisfaction by the end, but I still can't recommend Atlas in part because every other relationship other than Atlas and Smith is boring. The other characters seem flat, like stuff we've seen before. The agreeable general, the military leader, which first opposes the protagonist but later comes together with her, the robot, which wants to wipe out the human race for the good of the human race, etc. These latter characters serve their plot purpose, but apart from that, they don't add much dimension or interesting conversation to the film. Smith helps Atlas pilot a small mecha which specialized soldiers called Rangers are trained to pilot. Now, Atlas is not a Ranger, and she gets thrown into piloting a mech during the International Coalition of Nations attack on Harlan's planet. So, because she has no training in piloting a giant mecha, she has to learn to trust Smith in order for the both of them to be able to survive. But she hates AI, so this is a main point of tension in the film. Their mission is to bring back Harlan, but Atlas says he's too dangerous to take alive. Her mission commander is General Jake Booth, played by Mark Strong, and Colonel Elias Banks, played by Sterling K. Brown, is tasked with leading a group of Rangers piloting mecha called Arc Suits to find Harlan. Now, I thought General Jake Booth and Colonel Elias Banks were miscast. Mark Strong, being the scarier of the two, should have played Colonel Elias Banks, because Banks clashes heads with Atlas, and it would have been more powerful if she had to clash heads with someone who was scarier and not as friendly as Sterling K. Brown. Kind of like the Terminator becoming friends with Linda Hamilton, and and in Terminator 2. It, it's better if they're more strongly opposed to each other. If they're scarier, if he's scarier, like Terminator was scarier in that film, yes, it would have made her seem more heroic, made her, Atlas seem more heroic, and help us to feel empathy for her more and root for her more. But as it is, Brown grew on me. By the end of the movie, there is a scene in which he is suffering. That his performance seems redeems itself, but I think it would have been better had they cast a scarier actor for the role of Colonel Banks, because there's a dynamic in the Terminator movies, Terminator 2, where the character of the Terminator, played the T-800, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is scary, but he's also a friend of the heroes. So at any moment, you think that he could snap and turn on them. So that's the dynamic that I wanted with Sterling K. Brown and Atlas, with the character of the Colonel and Atlas. Yes. Despite advances in special effects technology, the special effects in Atlas are horrible. Nowhere near as good as Spielberg's Artificial Intelligence, even though that movie was made 23 years ago, and nowhere near as good as Avatar, Blade Runner, the original, Pacific Rim, or the best of the first 6 Star Wars movies. I think sci-fi movies should be careful to make better visuals so they can stun and not bore audiences. When you have sloppy visuals like this in Atlas, it could be one of the reasons for the failure of certain sci-fi films, because audience like fantastic visuals like those of the above stated movies. The action sequences in the movie are okay, but not great. The fight with Harlan at the end is okay, but could have been better. Had the action sequences used other techniques other than CGI, or had it used better CGI like the CGI of Pacific Rim, they could have been better. The best mech movie with the best special effects of any mech movie so far is Pacific Rim, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Even though it came out 11 years ago, the art direction and special effects still hold up today, and a lot of thought was put into the effects. In this movie, however, it seems like the effects were an afterthought. Netflix should strive to improve this in its films. It even has one environment with bioluminescence, which seems like a cheap ripoff of Avatar. One actor that's effective in being a scary villain is Abraham Popula, who plays the artificial intelligence named Casca. I don't want to spoil much more about him, but he's horrifying, yes. Atlas's mother was responsible for creating the neural link, which can synchronize an artificial intelligence's brain with a human brain. I love that technology, and to create that in real life would be a game changer. It could augment both human and machine's abilities drastically. The neural link is one of the ideas that the movie develops well. It is an idea that is better developed here in Atlas even than it is in Pacific Rim or Neon Genesis Evangelion. That is one aspect that Atlas does better than those two other franchises. I guess it's also because in this movie there is a synchronization with an advanced artificial intelligence. In Pacific Rim or Neon Genesis Evangelion, there isn't as much awareness of the potential dangers of AI as there is in this film. And those movies are more allies than anything else. I think the conclusions that Atlas reaches about artificial intelligence are fair and not heavy-handed in any way, because yes, artificial intelligence can turn on us if we don't manage it correctly, but it can also be very helpful. So we must not be anti-technological Luddites. If we were to reap its benefits, and maybe even if we want to help someone or save the human race, artificial intelligence may be necessary. Jennifer Lopez's performance is not perfect, but it is full of a lot of charisma, and that added a lot to the film. Overall, I give Atlas 2.5 out of 4 stars. As Roger Ebert would say about some movies, I liked it, but not enough to recommend it. The strongest part of this film is the relationship between Atlas and Smith, but you have to wade through a lot of boring stuff to get to the payoff. But if you are a hardcore sci-fi fan, you might like it. Next up, I hope to maybe review The Pilgrim's Progress, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the Elon Musk biography by Walter Isaacson, and the Christian cyberpunk novel Flashpoint by Frank Creed. If you liked Atlas, or even if you're just a fan of sci-fi, then I strongly ask that you please buy my novel, Swordsman and the Philosopher, or Phantom Zero, which are now available on Amazon. I hope to post a link to them in the description. This is Swordsman and the Philosopher. If I have to do a movie meets movie comparison, it would be like, what if Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon met Twins? Yes. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon meets Twins. Yes. And for Phantom Zero, I would say, what if George Costanza was the protagonist of a mecha kaiju movie? If the character of George Costanza was a protagonist in the mecha kaiju movie and actually piloted a giant monster or a giant robot, yes, and that would be Phantom Zero, yes. And so that's what I have to say. So please buy Swords and the Philosopher, Phantom Zero, and also The Barber's Daughter and Capitan Quito, now available on Amazon. Yes, I appreciate it. Yes. Please help me out, because the novels aren't doing so well, so hopefully you can help them out a little bit. If you like sci-fi, if you like Atlas, or even if you didn't, even if you're just a fan of sci-fi, please buy The Swordsman and the Philosopher and Phantom Zero, now available on Amazon. Thank you, and have a great day.